It's really cold out, man. It's so much easier to be a driveway mechanic when it's summertime, but you gotta keep working on it. So I'm gonna try and wheel this thing inside again. See if I can get it indoors. It'll be more fun to work on. All right, I got my bike indoors again. This is becoming a bad habit of mine, but it's so much easier to work on your bike in the wintertime inside. Brings me to squad goals. Number one, a heated shop will be really, really nice. So someday. In the meantime, I'll keep bringing it inside until someone yells at me or the snow gets too deep. But that said, I'm getting ready to work on the bike again. And I ordered a bunch of parts, and the stuff I ordered from CFMoto USA is still somewhere in China, and the stuff I ordered directly from China got here right away. So I'm gonna get started. First thing I'm gonna do is a screen protector for my iPad dashboard thing. Yeah. So I'm gonna clean it up and throw the screen protector on it. Bubbles everywhere. Who knew the hardest mod was putting a screen protector on your motorcycle dashboard? All right, well, I'm not gonna dwell on my failure to be able to put on a screen protector. I'm moving on. And I got a box here, is a fender delete, AKA a tail tidy kit. And this is a common fender that comes on every new motorcycle. It hangs over the rear wheel to keep mud and rocks from flying up, but they always look like garbage. The first thing you should do to any motorcycle you buy, even if it's brand new, is put a rear fender delete on it. That's just my opinion, but I'm right. So we're gonna do that. This tiny box supposedly has a tail tidy kit in it. We're gonna see. Let's give it a try. So I got the bolts out of the rear fender, but there's still all the wires connected here. So I'm gonna pop all these out, trying to make a note of what went where, and then I can pull the whole thing off, put the new one on and reconnect it. Okay, I've got the rear fender off. I don't need the part anymore that has the light for the license plate off the old one because the new license plate holder comes with a little LED light for it. What I do need are the turn signals off of this, the Department of Transportation street legal turn signals. So I'm gonna pull them off, attach them to the new license plate holder, and wire it all up. Okay, now we got the turn signals off of the old fender, and we're gonna put them on the license plate holder along with the LED light for the license plate. And we'll wire it all up. But you can see how much better the motorcycle looks already without that junky thing hanging off the back of it. Okay, now we've got the new license plate holder wired up with the license plate light and the turn signals. The license plate light came with the new kit. The turn signals are off of the bike. They're the original turn signals. We're gonna put everything, run all the wires up through this hole, like that. And then we're ready to wire this, attach this to the bike and wire everything up. as you can see, it's just 4 bolts over there that holds the license plate holder in there. I've got that all bolted up, nice and tight. And there it is right there. Got our new license plate holder on there. Only thing left to do now is to wire it all up. Yeah, of course I didn't do a very good job marking what was what, but I bet we can figure it out. It's crazy how much that rear fender delete changes the look of the bike. Makes it look so much better. So much better. So I committed the cardinal sin of not labeling the wires when I disconnected it, and when I turned it back on, none of the lights worked, which means that I blew a fuse. The fuses live right here, and there's a diagram under the lid usually on every fuse box for a car or truck or motorcycle that tells you what does what. And sure enough, the headlight fuse was blown, so I put the spare in there. Got to order some more so I can replace the spare. And now I'm going to use my trusty voltmeter and figure out what does what so that I don't blow another fuse. Let's see how that works. And we're in business. There we go, we're in business. Let's try it out. We got left blinker. Yay. Right blinker. Yay. Brake light, obviously busted, waiting for that from CFMoto. And then also, the license plate light here, when I first hooked it up, I had the leads backwards. It is polarity specific. I switched the leads and now it works just fine. As far as figuring out what did what here in this wiring harness for the tail lights, I just used my voltmeter. I went from ground on the battery, I turn a turn signal on, and then I'd find which one had power on it, then I knew that was the right or left turn signal. And then the remaining ones, I knew there were 2 of them, one was hot and one was negative. Those are for the license plate light. Those are the ones I had backwards. I switched them, we're good to go. And I need to buy a new fuse for the one that I blew. But right now, we're in business. We got our CFMoto 650 NK with the tail tidy on it. Yeah, boy. Looks sick. Best part, hands down, about the tail tidy that I bought from AliExpress. Not just that it looks awesome, works good, is that it came with 6 stickers. It's come to my attention that I'm a little sleepy in my videos, so I'm gonna drink a lot of coffee throughout this video, see if I can up the tempo and the energy. All right, so next up, well, first off, we replaced the rear fender with our fender delete. Very happy with it. We blew a fuse, that's all right. Bought some new ones. Next up, we're gonna replace the rear plastics. I'm so bad at knowing what things are called. I'm like, this thing here. So we're gonna replace the rear side plastics, whatever they're called. Yeah, let's do it. So the rear plastics go right here. Here's the old one, or one of the old ones. And they seem to bolt on right here, and you can see that it snapped right off there. So I'm gonna pull these bolts and put the new ones on. So it was these 2 bolts here held it on, and in addition to that, it clipped in here. Oh. And then it looks like there's probably some body panel clips that need to go in here, and I have a pack of them. I just need to dig them out. All right, so there we go. I got one side on, looking good. So this side has the rear seat release key, and it clearly got damaged in the accident, so I'm gonna have to replace it later because it doesn't seem to move as it should, actuate properly. But I'm gonna go ahead and install it anyhow. There's some screws that hold it onto the back of this, and I'll worry about getting it to open later. All right, we got the rear side plastics on. We have the rear side plastics on. I feel like they look pretty good. They fit really well. So far, I've been really pleased with everything I bought from AliExpress. It showed up right away, and the fitment's great. It seems like OEM to me. It's probably the same factory. Yeah, that's it. All right, so we got our tail tidy done. We got our rear fender plastics done. We're still waiting on the tail light. That's still somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, I'm guessing, on the way here. But next, we're gonna move on to the handlebars. There's a lot of work to do there. I'm gonna show you a couple things I got off the interweb. I've got a variety pack of splices, connectors, electrical connectors. Good to have these on hand when you're working on anything. And then I got a variety pack of fuses because I blew one the other day trying to rewire the turn signals, rear turn signals, and I didn't have any spare ones on hand. Luckily there was a spare one in the bike, so I was able to test it, but for 15 bucks, 10 pound, whatever, euros, Deutschmarks. They don't use Deutschmarks anymore, do they? Euros. Yeah, renminbi. Yeah, get some, have them on hand. And I blew, I believe, a 15 amp fuse on the lights. So I'm gonna throw one back in the spare for next time I blow it. Under the seat is this cute little fuse panel, and I think that one there, the second one there, was the lights, and I pulled a spare there. So I'm going to put a spare back there, and what do you know, that's too big. Doesn't fit. So that's a normal car size one, so these must be minis. So I'm glad I ordered the variety pack. It's got minis and micros, so we'll try that. So as you can see with the handlebars, they're bent, well, I hope you can see from the video angle, they're bent very well. So I need new handlebars, so I gotta pull these off. I gotta pull everything off these, put in new handlebars, and put everything back on. And in addition to that, the mirrors were both ripped off, so I got new mirrors. And then I've got my dash input switch that I had to buy a new one. And then the levers were a little bent, and it's always a good opportunity to put in some cool new levers, if you're British. And I think that's it. That's what we're gonna do next. Okay, so whenever you're doing work on your bike, car, truck, snowmobile, RV, hovercraft, anytime you get a chance to upgrade, I recommend upgrading. So what I got here are some Renthal bars. I don't know what's special about them, but everyone talks about them like they're magic. They're handlebars +3. They add 3 to your dexterity saving throw. So we're gonna put those on. I also have in here some new grips and anodized blue levers, which is dope. I got my mirrors, I got my input selector switch, and that's another mirror. Yeah, all right, so we're gonna get busy. Also, if you're wondering what kind of tools does a driveway / living room mechanic need, right here, bro. Just a basic, I don't know, bought it at Home Depot for 100 bucks probably. That's it, that's all I use. Wish I had more, but don't let not having the right tools or the right space hold you back from having fun working on your rigs. So let's start pulling things off the bike, see what kind of trouble we can get into. So everything so far has come off pretty easy. The left-hand grip was just friction fit on, it's pretty tight. Everything else was just some screws and bolts. But I'm down to the throttle, which seems like, you can see here, it's obviously got a throttle cable in there. It's not coming off, so I think I need to be able to slide these aren't long enough for it to pull off the handlebar. The cables aren't long enough. So I'm gonna have to remove the handlebar, take it off, and then I can pull the throttle grip assembly. I do not know what things are called. Then I can pull this off. So, holding the handlebars on are these 4 bolts here. I'm gonna take these off next, see what happens. right, so I got all the bolts off. We're gonna pull the, I'm just gonna stop even pretending I know what things are gonna call. I'm gonna pull this thing off. And now the handlebars should pop right out. Boom, look at that. And can we now slide them up? Look at that. Oh, it's amazing. It worked. All right, so I'm pulling out my new bars here. I got my rentals. And I'm just now noticing that I may have got the wrong size bar. That's a bummer. I searched everywhere to try and find the right size, but I was misled. So you can see here, that's the original CFMoto bar there. How did I get that wrong? Man, I searched that exhaustively, so I thought. And here's the new rental bar there. It's clearly smaller. The rental bar is 7/8. The CFMoto looks like maybe 1.125, so I gotta send that back. At least I bought these bars from Revzilla where returns are easy. I do not want to try and send something back to AliExpress. That sounds like it could be difficult. Okay, so even though I bought the wrong handlebars, we can still continue on with a few of the mods. Next thing I'm going to do is to replace the clutch lever and the front brake levers. Let's go. So I changed out the new levers. They say 650 NK on them. You think they would fit a 650 NK? They don't fit a 650 NK. The old levers have this jog right here. The new ones are flat, so it's not fitting in. So I'm striking out left and right here. I don't know, we might call it a day and wait till the new handlebars come in. Well, there's one last thing we can do. The dashboard input switch is broken, so I'm gonna take the new one and see if I can wire that up. That's something I ought to be able to accomplish today. Let's try it. So the new input selector switch only has one screw hole at the top. The old one has two. I think it's the same switch, just maybe a different year. It's one of the annoying things about ordering from AliExpress is there's not a lot of descriptions, so you're not exactly sure what you're getting. I thought this would work. I don't know if it will. I think if it's the same wiring harness, then I'm gonna try it anyhow, and maybe I'll devise some way to attach it from there. So let's try that. To get at the wiring harness, it disappears into the center of the motorcycle, so I'm gonna pop this piece off and see if I can reach it. At this point, I think I need to take the entire motorcycle apart to get to that harness. So here we go. So you pull all the bolts and there's some clips in there, so I should just yank and I think it comes out. There's always that moment, am I gonna break the thing into a million pieces or is it actually going to come out? All right, so the clips came out. I got the fairing off. Oh, it's just hanging on the turn signal wire, which I don't like. But I am nowhere closer to being able to get access to that silly connector. I don't know what to take off next. I really hope I don't need to pull the gas tank off to get to that. So believe it or not, in order to get to the connector for the dashboard input selector switch, I think I need to pull the gas tank. I've got all the plastics off. I didn't break any, which is a miracle in itself. I'm gonna try and pull the gas tank. I think it's just these two bolts here. Usually gas tanks, it's bolts here in the back and then it just hooks in the front somehow. So pull these bolts, maybe I can get the gas tank off. And I'm gonna try to leave the fuel lines connected and just set it to the side a little bit. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So it's these two bolts right here under the seat. Pull those up. And theoretically we can lift the gas tank. Plastic shroud in the way. Good Lord, what do I have to do? Take the engine apart? So I pulled the gas tank up and there's a plastic shroud underneath the gas tank that's covering all the connectors. I don't know if I need to pull the motor to get to them. So I'm gonna put the gas tank, reattach the gas tank so it doesn't fall off, and I'm gonna take a break and I'll try again tomorrow. Sometimes when you're working on a project like this, it feels like it's one step forward and two steps back. And it can be a little frustrating. But it's important to remember that it doesn't really matter when this gets done. It's nothing but a fun project. It's a hobby. And there's no need to stress about it. And besides, we got plenty of time until it's ready to ride on the road. Because it's the middle of the winter.